The achievement of the Mad Lions in 2020 for throughout the season 10 campaign have been rather impressive. Despite the rather disappointing finish at the World Championship where they crashed out in the play-in stages, this was a team of 5 rookies, or rather 4 rookies and 1 sophomore player in the form of Humanoid that was pieced together and set up to succeed through the Mad Lions infrastructure, which I do think should form the bedrock of coaching infrastructure in the West. This system was pioneered by Peter Dunn, who headed the project and helmed the project for 2 years in Splice and for 1 year on Mad Lions as the head coach in this position. Most recently, he announced that he would be leaving the organization as of October 20th, which was a few days ago, and he will be exploring his options for the next year. He definitely has acquired quite an impressive resume and 100% playoff qualification rate. Most notably, he is noted for his ability to develop talent and scout for players as well as staff. Originally posted on October 8th on 2020, this tweet, as of the making of this video, has garnered 640 retweets, 139 quote tweets, and 8,000 over likes. He definitely seems to be one of the biggest free agents heading into the market, and as he stated in an interview with ESPN, esports, he would most likely be looking to move overseas, away from Europe, as he feels too close a connection to the Mad Lions to be facing against them in competition. He revealed that this also was a plan in the making since the start of the year, but he was training the current strategic coach of the Mad Lions, Mac, to take over in the head coach position, as he wanted to transition out into a different role, as he felt the age catching up to himself and realized that at the most recent World Championship that he was the oldest person around. So, what consists of the Mad Lions structure? And in this interview with ESPN, he broke down and gave us a very clear detail as to what the structure of the coaching system was on Mad Lions. He was a head coach who was in charge of the team culture, long-term planning, and would lead the staff meetings. This would mean that he would be in charge of scouting, and as the head coach, he would also hold the potential veto over any decision that the team made, not that he used it, as he claims in the interview. The second in charge would be the strategic coach, who would be the person who leads and runs most of the day-to-day operations, running review and going on stage to do the draft and then pick. And the third person on the coaching staff would be the spot or position coach, as he calls it, where this person handles individual feedback and coaching. The immediate benefit for this is that with the clear distinction, they are able to afford time in review of scrims to do a team review for 15 minutes and provide 10 minutes for these people to then split up and provide one-to-one feedback for the players. This way, there's a more efficient use of time, and as it says it, if they are covering something that's happening in the bot lane at 5 minutes, they do not need to involve the top laner, mid laner, and jungler for the discussion. So why does Peter suggest having a 3-man coaching staff? Now, this is something that Spice has experimented with in the past, and he feels that 3 coaches is more important than 2 coaches, as if there's only 2 people, it creates a clear hierarchy, which might create some form of groupthink, as the secondary coach would then feel that his opinion is worth less than that of the head coach. And why 3 coaches instead of other coaches, a larger number of coaches, is that when there's too many coaches around, opinions tend to become clouded. And as someone who was part of the Spice 2019 project, where there were multiple people and multiple positional coaches, I can definitely testify that this tends to be the case when there are too many people around giving their opinions. Now, rounding things off in the fourth person is Jake Ainsworth, who is a performance specialist helping the players with psychological issues as well as physical therapy. And following the clear distinction of roles, on the opposite end is Mac, who is a strategy coach and almost entirely focuses on strategy and preparing for the opponents. Whereas Peter and Cass, as the other 2 members of coaching staff, will alternate and consult these 2 pillars of performance and strategy to fulfill the roles needed to execute the vision for the team. This coaching setup, why I think it should be the bedrock for coaching, is that it allows for a measure of risk and long-term planning. Now, this is a discussion that any teams are having in general, and having a head coach that is able to step back and detach himself away from the daily operations and plan for the long term and handle scouting allows for this to happen. The clear distinction of roles as well also helps clarity between the various staff members and allows for higher levels of job satisfaction. This also allows dynamic discussions without clutter, which might be an issue with staff of a larger number. And this also creates efficiency in time usage while being able to provide sufficient attention to players. And with the reasons that he has explained, this coaching setup that the Met Lions have employed helps safeguard against scripting. Now that wraps it up for today's video, and there was no game today, so with the games happening this weekend, the next video will be my prediction video where I break down and I do my tactical preview of what's going to be happening this weekend in the semifinals of the 2020 World Championship. This content was brought to you by Johnson. If you enjoy this style of content, please do give this video a like and do consider subscribing to my channel. And of course, do check out the original ESPN interview, which I will link in the video description as well. With that, I hope you've had a nice day and get hyped for Worlds.